Well, to occupy the office of a deputy regional minister is a huge responsibility. It's not just a small responsibility because people have their social problems, their political problems, their economic problems, their infrastructural issues. There are a whole lot of issues that people expect the government of the day to resolve. Now, the president was the one who was voted for, but the minister and his deputy, we represent the president in the region, and so all the issues that people expect to be resolved within the region certainly brought to the attention of the minister or myself as his deputy. And I mean, if you are a responsible leader, every day, day in day out, you are worried, you are bothered, you are interested in making sure you are able to effect a change. You are thinking about how you resolve the many challenges that confront your region. The roads are bad. There are so many challenges that people bring to your attention, and people's expectations are high. There are some you can resolve, there are others you can't resolve, and those that you cannot resolve, and people who bring such problems don't understand how the governance structure or system works. You get more worried because as a leader, you know that you are there for a particular period. You are not going to be there forever, and so you want to put up your best so that when you even leave there, at least people will remember you, and then when you get out there, people will still relate well with you and feel that, oh, when you were there you didn't abandon them. Here is the case, they bring issues that is difficult for you to resolve, and sometimes it's difficult for you even to say that there are things that cannot be done because you need to look at the person's understanding and disposition and see how you strike a balance so that you don't offend the person. And those issues certainly gives you a lot of worry, and I mean, maybe that is the reason why you are seeing the gray hair coming. It's because I'm thinking so much about how we can resolve the issues, and there are not small challenges, but we are doing our best.
One other challenge that I know is always confronting public office holders, especially with your track record as a die-in-the-wool party man, is that party members who might have known you over the period or might have not known you but know that you were a strong party man, and by virtue of that you have come into office, always want to have their way, which whether it is feasible or otherwise. How are you striking that balance to be in the good books of the party and still do what the government so desires you to do?
Well, that is always a very big challenge. I belong to a lot of WhatsApp groups where you have party members, and sometimes when you yesterday like this on one particular platform, the whole day I followed the discussion, and sometimes I even get more worried than what I see in the office when you read the kind of things that party people write, the way they feel frustrated, or the way they think that their expectations are not being met, and it is because leaders are not doing well or leaders are not minding them, and those kind of things. It's quite disturbing. But what I think is that party people have to also understand that leaders cannot solve all problems at the same time. That is why we need to advocate and let people understand that the promises that His Excellency President Nana Akufo-Addo made to the people of Ghana are being fulfilled to satisfy all Ghanaians, and on that basis we should be re-elected to power. And the longer that we stay in power, certainly will offer opportunity to a lot more people. But if we expect that within the 4 years mandate we can do all the things that everybody expects, it becomes a difficult thing to do. But the longer that we stay in power, the more people benefit from outside the party and within the party. For instance, today I'm deputy minister. I mean, if the president is re-elected in 2020, probably he can take me somewhere, or he can say that, oh, Chinia, you have served for 4 years, it's okay, and bring another young man to also continue. I see that because change itself is development, and so when leadership changes, certainly to affect another group of people and all that. And so we all need to be patient, we all need to be tolerant, and then believe that our government will over the period deliver the goods that we expect. Otherwise, we will be inflicting some kind of pain on ourselves that is not, in my view, not necessary. But to be frank with you, when I sometimes interact with party people and I read some of the things on our platforms, I get worried, and I also appreciate their concerns, because when you support a system, you are supporting the system so that the system can liberate you. But we all agree that in politics, I keep saying that there are two major levels of expectations and benefits. One is the general goods, what the government will do for the country as a whole. For instance, the free secondary education. When the child is going to benefit from free secondary education, they don't ask you whether your father is MPP or NDC. It affects every Ghanaian, which is good. Planting for food and jobs, but the cost of fertilizer has been reduced by half. Every Ghanaian benefit. It doesn't matter whether you are NDC or MPP. But we also do know that at a certain level, party people also expect direct benefits to them as people who have brought the party to power. And that is where the challenge is. And that is why I am asking that we as leaders, we think about them, we are worried about them, we will do everything to support, but we cannot do everything within a year, 2, 3, 4. We need to make sure that the party stays in power for long so that everybody can get that personal benefit that you want. There are times that, I mean, somebody wants a personal help from you and then you don't have, and the person feels aggrieved. But in a day, if you have 20 people approaching you and you are able to say help 10 and you are unable to help 10, the 10 that you are unable to help should not feel that because you've not been able to help that it means you are wicked or you don't want to help. They should know that, I mean, the numbers are huge and you cannot help everybody at the same time. And so when you are able to help some and you are not able to help others, they should appreciate it. And with time, I am very confident that our government will deliver the goods and then everybody will benefit.
Thank you very much. If you're still listening, station is W93.5 FM. This is Wake Up Papa. My guest in the studio this morning is Honorable Amidu Chinia. He's Deputy Upper West Regional Minister. We're having a conversation about some happenings in the region, especially we just tackling issues of party and governance. Now, let's come to the region and see some of the things that are ongoing. One issue is about the asphaltic overlay that was being done prior to the 2016 elections, after which when the NPP came to power, there was a point where some work was being done, I think from the traffic light area through to the hospital junction. But we've not seen any work going on as far as that is concerned. Is it that the work that was stipulated to be done is completed, or there are some contractual issues that are being ironed out?
Well, let me say that usually when it gets to the political season, governments or parties in government, they do some projects that probably the intention is to win the mandate of the people. And in 2016, or between 2015 and 2016, there were a lot of projects that were awarded, especially in the road sector. And because it was an election year, contractors were encouraged to go to site to work. And by the close of the elections, these contractors had, even though they had done some work, they had not been paid a pesewa. And government then had, you know, our major source of funding for roads is the road fund.
Yeah.
And the then government, I think in 2015-16, took a loan against road fund with a very high interest rate, and all that money was expended. So when the NPP came to power, in 2017. Road fund was more or less like it was mortgage because there was a loan. So every month, whatever you generate goes to service the loan that was taken by the previous government. Now here you also find yourself, some contractors were given jobs to be done, and they were not paid the peswa. And because the election is over, they too are saying they should be paid before they can continue and all that. And so till government is able to meet those contractual agreements or do some payment, some of them cannot continue. And of course, government has gone in to pay a lot of them. I mean, you saw the Tumu One Hand Road. The tariff was done up to I think somewhere Fiang.
Yeah.
When we came in and then we paid the contractor, he has finished that part of the project. In fact, what he started from Fen to where he ended, put together, is more than all the talent that NDC did in their 8 years. And that same contractor, if you take the DBR road, has also tarred some 10 kilometers there. Nakore side, they have done. So all those things is because some payments have been done. But in the case of the asphalt, this and that was being done in Wa, I think there is still some outstanding payment. But in my personal view, if you look at the bad nature of roads in the region, and I think that we should look at the major roads. For instance, Tumu Road it's terrible. It's a major highway that links Upper West to Upper East. If we cannot do that, and we are doing asphalting of town roads, I mean, it's better to go and use that money to do those roads that are not done at all. Look at Nandong Hamele, it's been done. I mean, you know the kind of trade, the kind of business that goes on between here and Burkina Faso through Hamele. But because of the bad nature of the road from Nandong to Hamele, I mean, businesses were being affected. But government has gone ahead to pay the contractor something, and the contractor has re-gravelled the whole road and is set for tarring. And so a lot of work is going on, but like I said, for me the focus should be on those major roads that are out of town, and then also the roads that you have potholes. Like in town, there are certain portions that have potholes. Those places should be taken care of. So by and large, that is what is happening.
Let's go ahead, Honorable. Let me find out from you. One issue that a lot of people keep referring to is always about the Upper West Regional Hospital, the new one. As to whether it's complete or not is an issue that some people believe is complete just because of a political expediency that the project was started by former President John Dramani Mahama or the Oswald NDC administration. That's why the government seems not to be serious about getting the hospital to work. I do remember in the first press briefing of Honorable Hafiz Bin Salih, he did indicate that the project is yet to be complete, and that's about 2 months ago that he was anticipating that work would have been completed, and if things go well, then subsequently it would be commissioned. Now, tell us, what exactly is the state of that hospital? There are a lot of conflicting issues.
And in fact, this was ably led by the late Vice President, His Excellency Alhaji Aliyu Mahama. You know, the wife is from the Sisala area, and he was particularly interested in getting Upper West a regional hospital. And so they went into negotiation with a foreign distant for them to do some investment. And so he asked the then regional minister for them to acquire a land. And in fact, if you go to the RCC, the records are there. All the assemblies were built and they contributed, and that piece of land was secured. But the processes to secure the loan for the project delayed. In fact, in 2008, late Vice President Aliyu Mahama wanted to actually hand over site for construction of the regional hospital. But you know, when it comes to loan agreement, you know, sometimes you go forth and back and all that. So there were delays, and that process didn't complete. But I can tell you that the decision to acquire the land to build a regional hospital was an initiative of the elsewhere Kufuor administration. And you can check, you can cross-check. And I think that the media should do more work in trying to sometimes go into issues and establish how it started, and at least give a history of certain projects, so that even if you don't need to give much acknowledgement to the Kufuor government, at least some percentage of recognition that they started the initiative, and the Mills government came and continued. They continued the negotiation of the loan agreement was signed, and then the hospital was started. So it didn't, the decision to build a regional hospital and the processes to build it didn't start with the NDC. It started with the Kufuor government. And so we will not say because I mean the project was started by the rail construction was started by the NDC. We don't have a hand in it. We have a hand in it. The NPP have a hand. The NPP government then started the process, and I want everybody in Upper West to know. And if the NDC thinks that that is not true, they should prove me wrong. That land was not acquired under the Kufuor government, and that all the districts in Upper West didn't contribute to the acquisition of that land. That is a fact. And the loan process to build that place also started under President Kufuor. But you know how loan distance. Currently, there are loan agreements that were started by John Mahama in his time that they have not signed. So if such a project comes to start under President Nana Akufo-Addo, wouldn't you say that some credit should go to John Mahama? So the fact that the rail construction is starting under Nana, then it means Mahama has no credit. Probably if you have not started acquiring the process to get that loan to build a particular project, you come and start, you will not get the time that you want it. So let's diffuse our minds that this is an NDC project, and because of that, MPP government doesn't want. That is completely false. The second point I want to make is that there have been a lot of misinformation regarding the construction of this hospital, and I want to challenge the media in Upper West to actually dig and investigate and understand all the things that have been said from John Mahama's time up to this time, so that we as media, you are independent. You are not NDC, you are not MPP. Is that not the case?
That's right.
So you should have a third opinion. The MPP can have their opinion, the NDC can have their opinion, but the media should have a third opinion. And because the media is independent and you do things based on facts that you are checking, not because of political bias, at least the people of Upper West will get to know the truth. The NDC claims that the project was, as at 2016, was over 80% complete. Is that not the claim? Or is it about 90% complete? Yes.
About 90%.
Yes. Former President John Mahama said that when he came to meet delegates, that the project was about 90% complete. And so he doesn't understand why President Nana Akufo-Addo by this time has not handed over the project. Today, I want to tell you, and I want to put on record, and you can go and check. The project was not even 70% complete as of 2016. And these are the facts. The structure of the hospital is about 70% of the contract. The machines and the materials to be put in the structure to make it a hospital is about 30%. As of 2016, not a single machine had arrived in Wa. In fact, not even in Ghana. Are you getting my point? Not a single machine had arrived in Wa. So if the machine's component alone is 30% of the project, and not one has arrived here, and the structure alone is 70%, and you have not finished the structure, so how could the project be 90% complete? It is not possible. It is complete lies by the NDC.
But honorable, come to think of it, isn't it the case that?
No, I just want to establish. Some facts. And
yes, I want to say something.
And I'm telling you to go and check.
So you based on that, and now let me get a clearer picture. I want to say something. I remember in 2015, former President John Dramani Mahama, during his State of the Nation address, said the project was 75% complete. That was in 2015.
Okay.
And as a layman, always passing that place, I was curious. So I went there and I sought to see the engineer. They directed me to speak to the resident engineer in Accra. It took me several days to get through to him, and he also told me the same thing, that is 75% complete. And I sought to get that understanding, and true, that's how things have been moving. You even I remember one time too, I had to contact them. Oh, they told me in 3 months this project would be finished, that has been that trajectory. So I seem not to understand whether the fault is from the politicians or the politicians influence what the contractors tell us.
So we must begin to question the reports the engineers they give us. I have been there severally as to whether some people are not misleading both the then NDC and the MPP now by telling us what is not true on the ground. But I've just made a point that the machine's component constitute 30%. 30%. As of 2016, not a single machine had arrived here. So it means the structure alone is about 70%. And as at by the end of 2016, the structure had not finished. So if the structure alone is 70% and the machines had not come, what it tells you is that the project cannot be 90% complete. That is the point I want to establish. Now, I am worried about the way we are playing football with this thing. Because whether you are MPP or NDC, we need that health facility. We need it. And the standard that is going to meet is going to be one of the best in Ghana. And there is no politics about it. As I said, I don't know when I'll fall sick and I'll need medical attention, and probably the current regional hospital cannot take care of my health needs. And I have to be taken to either Tamale or Kumasi, and by the time they take me there, what will happen? I don't know. So there is no way I can play politics, or the project will be completed and then myself or my minister or the MPP government will want to frustrate the process by not commissioning it because we think it is a project that NDC started. That cannot be the case. But fortunately yesterday, I think my minister, the health minister, they are talking, and yesterday night I saw a message from the special aide of the Minister for Health saying he wanted to talk to my boss, and all that is part of, because they want to finalize. There have been some developments that came up, and certainly we have to address them. If there are reports of leakages and those things, and you still go ahead and do commissioning, the same people who are complaining and pushing you will call you an irresponsible leader. So you must not allow pressure to push you to accept something that there are question marks. If you accept it because NDC is complaining, when you take it and finish, the same NDC will come back and say, you can't you see that there were mistakes? Are you getting it? So we want to make sure that at least the project meets its standard and specifications as contained in the contract between the government of Ghana and then the contractors. And so that discussion is going on between my boss and the health minister, and I am sure in the coming days you hear a statement on the state of. I wouldn't want to say anything, take the word out of the horse's mouth. My minister and the health minister, once they are talking, because the president is very interested. I led the regional house of chiefs to meet the president, and they mentioned 2 key projects: this regional hospital and then the airport. And then I also led the Wana and the Wala Traditional Council within the same week, or was it? Yeah, within the same week to meet president. And these were the priority projects that the Wana mentioned. And the president is taking it up with the health minister. He's also taking the airport matter up with the aviation minister and all that. So the president has his own commitment, and he's coming here. He wants to be sure that things are going well, so that he can give. The essence of the president visit is to give report and account of the state of the nation. And so if he's coming to Upper West, he should be able to report to the people of Upper West what he has been able to do in all these areas. So that interest is there, and the regional minister is keenly working on it, and I'm sure something will come out of it very soon.
Just yesterday there was this Meet the Press series by the Minister for Foreign Affairs, and one thing she did speak about the acquisition of office space for a passport office to be situated in the region. I do remember in somewhere 2017, you did indicate that an office had been secured for a passport office. Why the undue delay?
Well, these are very important matters, but you also need to go through due process. There are procurement processes that you have to go through. If you don't do the right thing, after you have left government, they'll be calling you back to answer questions, and if you are not careful, you can land yourself where you should not go to. So the role of the regional coordinating council was to offer office space to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and the rest will be done by Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So we have offered them space. If you know where the regional House of Chiefs they were, they have moved to their new office, so we have allocated that place. I think about 3 office spaces. One is very huge, and then they also want the frontage of the place should be made. I mean, they are security conscious, so we have offered that place. They have sent the deputy minister, in fact, came here, and I took him there. My former minister then was in Accra. He asked me to go and show him because they wanted to be sure of the space. So I took the minister there. He had come with their engineers. So when they looked around and they were okay, the engineers took measurements and did all their things, and they want to redesign the place. And I'm told that the last I spoke to the deputy minister for foreign affairs, he said they were in the process of awarding the contract for rehabilitation and refurbishing of the place. And I'm sure it's because of the procurement process that it has delayed, but I am sure in due course it will be done. Once the project, we have conceived the idea, we have the RCC role is to provide space, which we have done. The Foreign Affairs Ministry is supposed to come and work on the space, and they have to also go through due process so that they can award a contract for the contractor to come and put the place in shape, and then they can now post their staff there.
Now that you did indicate that the Deputy Minister for Foreign Affairs was here, as you did mention earlier too, you spoke about the airport and said that those are priority things for the projects for the President as far as getting them to be functional is concerned. But the issue of the airport seems to be one controversial issue. Well, we do remember, I think somewhere September 12, 2018, the Minister for Aviation was here and indicated that within a week we would have commercial flights. It's almost another September. There's no show there. And we are being told that some testing will have to be done for the runway. And subsequently, we are now being told that they need to get some, I don't know whether accreditation or certification from Italy for that to be done. It's so confusing. If you could clear that to us.
Well, I don't work directly in the Ministry of Aviation, so I may not understand the technicalities. And if you don't have a very good understanding of a situation, you don't impose yourself to try to talk about it. Otherwise you create more mess. But what I do understand is that when the aviation minister was given the timelines, in fact he didn't have some information.
Okay.
So when he went back to Accra, I personally spoke with him, and when he spoke to the airlines and the technical people, they said they needed to do some testing on the runway, the taxi link, and then where they mentioned 3 things, because the airlines want to know the capacity of aircraft that can land in the airport. So until that is done, you cannot determine the kind of commercial flights that can come there. So they were in the process when the chiefs actually visited the president and raised the issue. And immediately we left, the president called the Minister for Aviation and directed him to take steps to make sure that the issues were resolved so that commercial flights can start. So the aviation minister, if you remember, a week after the chiefs visited the president, the deputy minister for aviation came to the region, and he came with the engineers that were to do the testing. Last week he called me. The deputy aviation minister called me on some issues, and then we also casually discussed this. He said they had finished with the testing. Now the major issue is that these are the flights, the commercial flights are private organizations. So they have engaged them, and his indication was that African World said they were willing to start commercial flight, and so they are in the process of redirecting their itinerary and then making sure that they add Upper West so that they can start commercial flights to Upper West. So that is how far we have gotten to. But as leaders, we will continue to impress on our colleagues in Accra, the aviation minister and his deputy, so that they can continue to make the effort to ensure that commercial flights start. The president has charged the regional minister, and the regional minister is very passionate about also ensuring that this is done. And you know, I mean, Dr. Hafiz bin Saleh is a native of Wa, and he's grown up here and all that. As regional minister, he will want certain records to be set in his time as regional minister, because he's not going to be there forever. The legacies he leaves behind is what he will be remembered for. And so things like the regional hospital, the airport, he will be the happiest person to open the regional hospital, because that record will come in his name. He will be the happiest person to have the first commercial flight landing in the region, because the first commercial flight that will be coming will go to Accra and join it and come. Yes, the regional minister will be the happiest person that in his reign as a regional minister, commercial flights started coming to Upper West. Every leader, that is the best you can do for yourself, because you are there for a period, you can't be there forever. And so the minister is very particular about these landmark projects to take effect, so that the record will be in his name.
0392097209 is the number you can join me here in the studio. When you call, make sure you are straight to the point. Also be decorous in whatever you say, because we would not countenance any unsavory language you would want to use. So just say it as this. Station is still W93.5 FM. This is Wake Up Upper West live at the internet, www.w935fm.com. My guest in the studio this morning, Deputy Upper West Regional Minister, Honorable Amidu Hon Chinia. Hello? Sorry, I lost this one. You can call me 0392097209 if you have any thoughts to share. But we'll still continue with the discussion whilst we pick some few calls before we wrap up here. Honorable, watching you closely, especially on social media, I've been seeing that you are going across the length and breadth of your constituency, Sisala East, making one intervention or the other to various institutions and to several communities. Once you have ever tried to be parliamentary candidate before, are you still eyeing it?
Well, as for my interventions, I think it's not limited to Sisala East. Probably people tend to see more of Sisala East because they have their own interpretation about what goes on. I can tell you, my special studies here. We've been going to Cherepong. There's a school that I have, secondary school, and I've gone there to teach. I have gone there to help, and I have worked closely with the headmaster. They have been a day school, and I'm happy to announce that through our collaboration this time, they have been granted boarding status. GES Sisala West office, at a point they didn't have a printer, they didn't have a photocopier, scanner. They have to, when they type things, they have to go to the commercial listing to go and print. I bought a photocopier, a printer, and donated to them. And I've tried
not to cut you, Honorable. Let me pick this call, then we'll be back to you. Your name, where are you reaching me from? Good morning. Your name? Good, Gado. Go ahead.
First of all, I would like to say hi to my senior brother, who also happens to be my mentor in politics.
If you could please reduce the volume of your radio set or move a little away from it. Hello, Gado. Sorry, we lost Gado, but you can also call me 0392097209. I'm just picking a few calls, then we'll be wrapping up here on 93.5 FM. This is Wake Up Upper West. We're live at the internet, www.935fm.com. The lines seem not to be very stable, but if you are able to come through, we'll be able to listen to what you have to share with us. Hello? Hello? Sorry, we lost this call too, but you can keep trying. We will just try to pick some 3 calls, then we'll be winding up. So, Honorable, you were speaking about
yes. So, the support that I try to give in the Sala is it's not just because probably I have ambition to contest the seat or I'm eyeing the seat, but that is not also as for ambition to contest the seat.
So okay, maybe you can also reach out to him and encourage him to do so. This one also says, it's from Elvis again. He says, once again, good morning to the Deputy Upper West Regional Minister. He's a true party man and deserves to go higher in his career. This one says, we the youth of the NPP are solidly behind the Deputy Upper West Regional Minister in all what he does to the benefit of our great party. So those are some of the messages coming in. But Desmond also sends us this one. Desmond Kunle sends us this one. He says he's watching live on Facebook from Iceland. He also sends this one. Thank you very much, Desmond, for making time to listen to us here on Wake Up Upper West. Finally, Honorable, I'll give you an opportunity to use 4 minutes to speak Sisali to all those who understand Sisali as well.
Well, I want to thank my boss, the regional minister, for the strong working relationship that we have. He's the minister, he's in charge, but he has not left me out. He has used me as his subordinate. He has always demonstrated that we are together and will succeed together, and so I'm very, very grateful for the support he continues to give me, and to also assure him of my commitment to ensure that his vision as regional minister sees the light of day. And let me appeal to all Muslims, Christians, and people of all religious faiths to pray for the regional minister to succeed in bringing development to the region. For now, it is about Upper West. It is about development. When it gets to 7th December 2020, people can vote on their political lineage. But for now, let's support the government, let's support the regional minister so that he can deliver the goods for the benefit of everybody in the region. The roads needs attention. The minister indicated a plan to reverse the fallen standards in our education, and he intends to hold a stakeholder meeting of all stakeholders so that they can brainstorm and come out with ideas that will ensure that we reverse the going down of our education, basic education level. The percentages keeps reducing, and our children are not doing well. And the minister, being an educationist and an academician, he wants to ensure that things change for the better. Because at the end of the day, education is the way forward. If we don't have the right human resource, we cannot exploit. If we don't have the right human resource, we cannot exploit our natural resources to the benefit of Ghanaians or to ourselves. So we need to get our people educated. So you start to speak to Sally.
Yes.
Why not Wale? Anyway, me chola ne la kala si jegle radio WFM chichondeng Sisala Union Chairman and executives and Sisala kala he watonko ahe le na kala powers like me choloma actual la kuruzun rema chema haran ane government haran tentengala la president na nadu dan kwa do so ochonga pagana la powers ne la manoto no se machin president harachin regional minister haran la kala pe ajun la to bina pe dongole re lawo tentengare la powers ne la na government den to no ne benela sala wa benela tentenyun na ka pere na la tentenga and nana government tentenga o setan o tama dakanakane para nga wunyung la gana tong and planting for food and jobs manna fertilizer yalan ututintin la ne aro pere mabra ne ala ken konko ba yere for food and jobs re bo pela ne ala ba biese kia jingi bona ane sunu ne kia mana na ne tam kala la mu yok ya bon la ben na ne lol la kala lolo nga lol pere so mele la ben la birin ko munon rumu wore ka ma jallolle la sala kala si jegli WFM chonding karbo rasuluma ma biene kame re